Hello everybody and welcome to my table, nightstand, table, coffee table. It's a table. Welcome to my table. Today we're gonna do a video that I've been wanting to do for a while, and that is essentially we're going to redesign this Animal Crossing Colourpop collection because it's no secret at this point. I've made videos about it. I do not like how this collection turned out. I was not a fan. So we're gonna essentially redesign this today. I'm gonna do my best to keep the 4-pan formula for all these ones, just to kind of keep it in line, like with, because I like the 4-pan idea. Like I like that each character gets 4 pans, but at the same time, if one of those pans is an unusable color as like pressed glitter, then no, get the fuck out of here. So we're gonna go in here and create a better color story because I feel like we've been done dirty with these palettes. So we're gonna do better. So using essentially what I have, I'm going to redesign these in the way that I wish that they would have been. Like just color story wise, what I wish that they would have been. So I tried to film this video once before and just going through basically everything and trying to come up with the colors that I thought fit each of these palettes the best. And unsurprisingly, it took forever. Like that video would have been probably more than 2 hours long. So what I have done instead is I have compiled a few colors from certain palettes that I already think would fit well with the color story that I'm trying to go for with each character. And we're essentially going to go through and choose and narrow down the 4 colors that we want to use for these palettes. So we're going to start off with Mr. Blathers and Ms. Celeste. So for Blathers, the colors that I chose were brown and green. I'm just gonna really quickly swatch out the colors that I've chosen for this palette. So one of them is this shade Verdant, this shimmery green from the Musee Beauty Impressionism palette. It's just gorgeous. Look at that. Absolutely beautiful. I believe I really also liked the green matte in here, so we're gonna go ahead and swatch that as well. There we go. Yeah, I like both of those. They're both really pretty. We also have this green in the Beauteous palette. Can't tell if that's going hard pan or not. That's a little bit too aquamarine, I think, but we'll swatch it anyway. Yeah, that's a little bit too on the blue side. I think I want something more green. Okay, so moving into the other green colors that I really enjoy, we're gonna go into the Game Beauty Adventure palette. There's a lot of colors in here that I absolutely love that I think would work really well for this. So one of them is this color Stealth, this shimmer. This is a very, very special color. I absolutely love it. It's a bit of a darker green, and it's a mix of brown as well. It's very foresty, just super special color. The other one that I thought might work really well is this Level Up, this matte color. Let's try that one out. That one's nice too. It's a bit darker than the Musee Beauty one, but I'm not upset at that. I like it a lot. Really love that one. So nice. And then the last one from this palette that I wanted to try out was obviously this Maize color here. See how that looks. That one's also just super special. All of the shades in this palette are just so freaking special. I absolutely love them. Look at that. Ugh, so pretty. So those are all our greens that are kind of contenders for the green spot for Blathers. Now moving into brown, there's a few browns in here that I actually really like. One of them being from the Cosmetics Magic Hour palette. This is their Divine Skies little eyeshadow palette, little pizza pan here. I really love this darker brown. It's so pretty. It's just such a warm chocolatey sort of brown. It makes me think of hot chocolate. We'll swatch that one out. And it just matches with the green as well. Like the shade, the tone of the green that I'm going for, it just matches really well with this brown. The other browns that I really liked are unsurprisingly from the Going Coconuts palette. We all know what shade I'm going for. This Cocoa Crush shade in the middle is my absolute favorite brown in my whole collection. It is beautiful. Just, oh my God. This, I I live for that brown. It's so nice. I definitely feel like I'm going to go for more of a matte brown in this palette, but still, I just wanted to appreciate that beauty. I don't know if I want to use a darker brown than that. I kind of just really like those two browns. Like if we're going for straight up just a Blathers palette, we would get these two browns and then a shimmer and a matte green. Like that's what I would put in a Blathers palette. But if we're squishing Celeste and Blathers together, if we want to keep it just like that, then we're gonna have to narrow it down. I think just for variety's sake, from the Nude Mood palette, I'm gonna go in here and grab this darker brown just to say we have a dark brown in the mix. There we go. I think that's a good contender. It's a pretty basic kind of universal dark brown color. Okay, now that we have half our hand covered in Blathers' colors, we're gonna move into Celeste. So for our Miss Celeste, we obviously have pink. So I'm gonna go back into my Impressionism palette, and one of the greatest pinks I think I own is this one here, this shimmery pink. I love the shimmers in this palette so much. They feel so buttery and creamy. There's that pink. It's perfect, right? I think like no matter what, I'm gonna go with that pink because it's just kind of perfect for her. The other pink that I kind of wanted to look at for her or explore is this Supreme shade in the Anastasia, Beverly Hills, and Jackie Aina palette. It's a matte pink. Although this one's a little bit more peachy than I would like, it kind of works with the patterning that she has going on her front side. But for me, I think I want to lean in more towards that bow on her head, like the pink on the bow. The peach is cute, but definitely not what I'm leaning towards. The other color I was kind of looking at was back in the Beauteous Cosmetics palette. We have another pink in here, and that's this lighter one here. Very powdery. Ooh. I don't know how great that's swatched out, but not really. It's definitely a lighter peachy pink, so I don't know about that one. So those are definitely the contenders for pink, I think. I'm gonna move into the other color, which was blue, because Celeste is obviously very interested in the night sky, so I wanted to try out different shades of blue to see what would work best for her. Oh, I also completely forgot there was a red that I had been considering as well for her. So going into my Huda Beauty Naughty Nudes palette, there's some really beautiful colors in here that I think would work very, very well. One of which is a mixture of red and purple, or there's a mixture of red and blue in this shade right here, this duochrome, that I think is actually quite a beautiful color for Celeste, because it's got that blue in it that's very reminiscent of the night sky, but there's also red in there as well. It's just, it reminds me of a freaking galaxy. Like this is a galaxy colored shadow, and I think that's very appropriate for Celeste. The other color was this Desire shimmer right here, this red shimmery shade. So I'll swatch that one out as well. I'm obsessed with that blue duochrome. It's just the loveliest thing. So there was one blue that I really thought would look nice with her, and that's this shade Starry here from the Musee Beauty palette. That's that one. And then also, if we wanted to go for a deeper sort of blue, there was also the shade Void from the Club Nebula and Kaleidos palette. I thought that one would be really nice. It looks like the night sky, which we all know. Celeste loves the night sky. And there you go. Those are the current contenders for the Blathers and Celeste palette. So for Celeste, we have a red, pink, blue color story, and for Blathers, we have a brown and green. So now we need to narrow this down. I need to narrow this down and figure out which colors we're keeping, because we can take 2 from here and 2 from here, which, like, I'm really tempted to just say fuck it and create this as one palette, that being Celeste's palette, and then this as another palette that being Blathers' palette, because I do think that they both deserve their own palettes. But for the sake of this thought experiment, we're going to keep the 4-pan palette. We're going to keep the theming the same, and we're just going to redesign it with 4 pans and both of the characters together. So let's narrow this down, which colors we want to keep. Because it also matters that they work together, right? So we can't have colors that clash with one another and that wouldn't work together in a palette. Because off the bat, I could tell you which colors that I want to keep, but I have to make sure that they all work together, you know? My initial thinking is that if we have a green and then this red, it's going to be too Christmassy. So I might remove that one as a contender, just because I don't want this to look like a Christmas palette. Straight off the bat, the 2 colors for Celeste that I really want to keep is this pink and then this blue-red duochrome shift. Like, those are the 2 that I want to keep for Celeste. If I wanted to add a third, I would add either of these blues. For Blathers, my favorites are this green, the brown-green duochrome, and then this brown, this light brown. And then as a third, I would have this shimmery brown tone. Although, and here's a crazy idea. Here's just a truly crazy idea. What if we have a matte green and a shimmery green for Blathers? Do we need to have a brown? Do we need to have a brown in here? I feel like they did us dirty with Blathers and Celeste just having a freaking neutral ass palette. I don't know. I really don't know. Because I'm trying to think of which brown would look nice with the colors that we've chosen for Celeste. Because there's so many options here. Like, so many options. We could also, because the 2 colors also that are kind of pulling at my heartstrings is this one and then this blue. This blue is absolutely beautiful. So we could have those 2 colors and then just choose a brown and a green, because the blue will match with the green really nicely. And a brown, like the blue and brown are going to be beautiful. But then there's the case of this one, because this one has pink, it has red, it has blue in it. So it has all of those colors that I really associate with Celeste. Shoot, I don't know. I really want to just say fuck it and give them each their own palette. I really do. Because then I would know exactly which colors I want to keep and which ones I want to, like, throw away, you know? Because my worry with this blue, like, if we keep this blue, none of these browns really work with it. Do we just forego that duochrome? Because while I do love that duochrome, it has to work with the brown. And if we keep this pink and this blue, this shimmery blue, and have Celeste be the 2 shimmers, we could definitely have Blathers as this brown, this lighter brown, because it works with both this pink and this blue. And then we just choose a green and call it a day, like a matte green. And I'm definitely leaning towards this Game Beauty one, as much as I love this green-brown duochrome. Ugh, I don't know. Let's try it out. Okay. Let's reimagine this palette on the back of my hand. So we're gonna choose the 2 pinks from in here, or not the 2 pinks, but this pink and this blue from the Impressionism palette. Those are the 2 Celeste colors that we're gonna go with. And we're gonna swatch those right on the back of my hand there. And then from the Game Beauty palette, well, first of all, from the Cosmetics palette, we're gonna go with this brown, because this is the one that I've chosen to go with. This palette, like, the eyeshadows are just so soft. There we go, brown. And then from the Game Beauty palette, we're gonna go with this darker green. We're gonna put that right there. Look at that. I really like that. I really, really like that. Oh my gosh, that's, ooh, I really like that. That's so nice. That's super nice. That is so, like, that's such a great variety of colors there, isn't it? That pink, that blue, the brown, and the green. Like, you can make so many different looks with this, just with these 4 colors. Like, as much as I love this green shifty duochrome and this brown or red blue duochrome, like, it's absolutely beautiful. But we've gotten all of the tones that I would have liked to include. We have brown, we have green, we have blue, and we have pink. Like, those are all of the tones that I kind of wanted to include for both of these characters just in this color story, and they all work really nicely together. So I think we have achieved our goal with the Blathers and Celeste color story with these 4 colors. So once again, we have this green, oh, what's it called? Level Up, This is called Level Up from the Game Beauty Adventure palette. We have Terra from the Divine Skies Magic Hour eyeshadow palette. We have Starry from the Musee Beauty Impressionism palette. And then we have Water Lily also from the Musee Beauty Impressionism palette. And I think that between those 4 colors, that's a fantastic representation of Blathers and Celeste as eyeshadows. I think we did a really good job here. I'm so happy with this. And these were all of the runner-ups. Absolutely beautiful. This one, I would have loved to include it. Like, definitely if I had the freedom to choose like an entire palette for both of these characters, it would be this for Blathers, and then this is the color story that I would have chosen for Celeste. Straight up. So pretty. So pretty. Let's be serious here. They both deserve their own palettes. Like, in an ideal world, this is what their palettes would look like. Next, we're gonna do the Able Sisters. Now, I've gone through and I've selected a few colors for them already that I think would work really, really well. And it was a while ago, so now I have to remember which ones those were. Okay, so for the Able Sisters, all 3 so cute. Ignore the horrible fingerprints that I have on my phone. But we have basically 3 different color stories. Both of them are very similar. So we have Label and Sable, which are very similar in color story. Mabel's obviously the odd one out here with that bright blue, which, to be honest, I'm going to steer clear from. I'm going to focus more on the purple side because, to be honest, I do actually enjoy the original purple palette that they came out with for the collection. I think it's really pretty. I just wish that there hadn't been a freaking pressed glitter in there. So we're gonna redesign it and try and add a little bit more depth to this palette. All right, so going through, I'm gonna swatch some purples first of all. The first one that really called to me was this purple Big Wig color from the ABH and Jackie Aina palette. Like, that one just really called to me as a color that we could use in this scenario. It's like, it's the Sable purple almost exactly. Like, it's perfect for Sable. Like, look at that. Absolutely perfect for her. And there were actually 2 colors from here that I wanted to use. The other one being Sponsored. I just think it's an absolutely beautiful duochrome that works with Sable very well, because I think Sable, while she's very shy on the surface, has so much depth to her. And I think this color really embodies that very, very well. This is one of the most beautiful colors, and it's the undertone of this color is very much sort of Sable. So we're gonna give that a swatch. Like, yes, it's brown, but there's so much depth to it with that green shift in it. I love it. I love that color so much. The other color that might work really nicely is this Lituation. I know I'm swatching a ton from this palette, but there's just so many colors that could work here. Like, just straight off the bat, those 3 colors look so much like the Able Sisters, at least Sable and Label. All right, now I'm actually gonna go into some more of the purples. We have the Solman Palette, which is this bright lilac purple. I think it's a little bit too purple for what I'm trying to go for here, but we'll give it a swatch anyway. Oh, and I made a mess. Yeah, I think that one's a bit too lilac-y of a purple for what I'm going for. I'm going to take the Soul Blooming palette from Nabla, because there's a really pretty purple in here that I want to try. And that is this flowery, sort of periwinkle blue purple. Yeah, I like that one a lot better. It's not as bright of a purple. Yeah, that one's definitely more of a blue-toned sort of lavender purple. This one's definitely more lilac. I much prefer this one. Much prefer this one. The lavender over the lilac. There's a few colors from here that I actually want to try. One of them being this shimmer in the middle. It's just a really pretty, shifty, light purple blue shimmer. Like, I enjoy it. I don't know if it'll actually work for this, but we'll swatch it anyway. It's so shimmery. I like the idea of having a lighter shimmer in there, but we'll try out a few more and see if that works. This purple I really like, but it's almost a bit too purple for what I'm going for. Like, it's got too much of a pinkness to it, and the same thing with this one in the middle. It's just not quite what I have in mind when I think of this, the Able Sisters palette. So that's the only one that I was going to swatch from in there. And even that one I'm not quite sure about yet. Moving into my two Kaleidos palettes, we have the Astro Pink in here, and the one that I wanted to swatch from in here is obviously this matte purple shade. I'm gonna put it over here. Those are very similar. Those are very, very similar. This one is definitely more berry toned, and then this one's more purple. I still think I'm leaning towards the purple from the ABH. Then the other one I think might be really nice is this sort of mauve-y shimmer. Wow. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow, wow, wow. I think for Sable, I like that one a little bit more than this one. I like it. Those shimmers are just wild, aren't they? Just amazing. Let's take a look in here and see if there's anything that catches my eye. Really don't know about that one. Those two matte purples are a bit too purple for me. The same issue I had with the Solman palette. Okay, I'm gonna swatch this one because it has that sort of blue, like the Mabel blue, that I think might look really nice. So let's give that a shot and see how that works. Wild. Oh, those are so pretty. Oh, let's keep swatching. I like all of those. I really can't choose at the moment. Okay, so we're gonna go into the Norvina. A few colors in here as well that could work for this. One being, I don't know about this soul color, to be honest, actually. I'll swatch it just to see, but I'm not quite sure about it. I think where my heart lies is that Soul Blooming lavender color, but we'll give it a shot. Yeah, I think that's a bit too dark. No, I don't know. Let's keep swatching and we'll see. Then the other one that I think could work nicely specifically for label is this color Drama. I think that could be really pretty. It's like a dark rose gold mauve color. Yeah, that's nice. It's real nice. I'll swatch this rose gold as well because I think that's nice for Sable. This is like a really intense swatch party happening on my arm right now. We're almost through the swatches that I wanted to try. So within the ABH Modern Renaissance, I think the only one I wanted to try was this Buonfresco. Buonfresco. Yeah, I think that's the only one from in here that I wanted to swatch. Just to see, like, as a light color, how it would fit into the mix. The last one is the Baroque Palette. All right, so there's 3 colors in the Baroque Palette that I wanted to swatch out for you. One is this color Ritzy. The other one is Noble, this one in the middle. Both of them are duochromes. One is just a little bit darker than the other one. Then the last one is this Secret color, which is a satin that has shimmer all up through it. There's Ritzy. There's that one. To be honest, there's not much difference between those two. And then the last one is the gray. Yeah, that one turned out way more gray than I thought it was going to, so I might forego that one. Okay, so those are all of the colors that I've chosen out for the Able Sisters. So this matte purple is an absolute yes. This is from the ABH and Jackie Aina palette. So that one I'm just gonna swatch and put on the back of my hand just because we're absolutely going with it. Like, there's nothing in the world that could change my mind that that's the one we're going with. Because it's perfect in like every way for this palette. It's nice and deep. You can really deepen out a look with it. It's perfect, like in every single way. Next, because we want to make sure to cover all of the sisters, right? I really like, I do really like this shimmer for Sable. I think it's really pretty. This one from Kaleidos, or this deeper sort of taupey color. I don't know. I also like these 2 duochromes, the ones from the Baroque palette. Also so pretty. One of them has more blue in it, so this one has a lot more blue in it that could work for both Mabel and Sable. So I think that one is a contender. I think I'm gonna keep that one in there because it has Sable's undertone, but then the shine through is so blue. It is that Mabel color. You see that? Okay, yeah, because I like the mix of them, and those are the 2 that really own the shop. So symbolically, I really like that color, so I'm gonna throw that one in there as well. And that's this middle one, Noble. Which works, because in the original one, there was this kind of duochrome as well, is the same sort of tone. Not that I want to recreate what they had in that palette, but to be fair, it's not that hard. Ooh, we're throwing shade. I mean, it's true. I don't mind throwing shade, but it's true. It's very easy to recreate. So far, we have this one from the ABH Jackie Aina palette, and then this one from the Colourpop Baroque palette. We have 2 more colors to choose. I kind of want a lighter color, to be honest. So we have a shimmer. Ideally, we'd get another matte. So I'm thinking either this lavender or this taupe. I really like this lavender, but I also really like this taupe. Dang it. I think the lavender. I like the depth of this lavender, and I like the kinds of, like the types of looks that you could do with it, because you could use this to deepen out that lavender, and I think it would look really nice. Yeah, let's go with the lavender. And that's from the Nabla Soul Blooming. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. All right, we have one more color to choose. And I think we should go with something that's a little bit lighter. So I'm thinking one of these 3. Perhaps I think even this one or this one. Because this one in the middle is beautiful. I really like it. But I don't know that it's light enough. Because this one is very sable. Like, this one's straight up just sable. And we already have a blue-purple shift in here, so I feel like this one right here would be a bit too redundant. Like, I don't think that we need that. So one of these 2, and I'm honestly really leaning towards this one. It's just so special. It's just so special, and I think Sable deserves her own really special color, and I'm not biased in any way in saying that she's my favorite, but I think Sable deserves her own color. So for that reason, I'm going to choose this one. And that's from the Kaleidos Astro Pink palette. Because Sable, bless her heart, deserves her own freaking color. I'm going to put that right on the knuckle. There we go. We have our Able Sisters palette. That Sable color is wild. I did not expect it to stand out so much. But you know what? It's fine. I love it. Sable, bless her heart, freaking deserves it. So there we go. We have our Able Sisters palette. Just as a reminder, we have the ABH Jackie Aina Big Wig. We have Noble from the Colourpop Baroque palette. We have Flowery from the Nabla Soul Blooming palette. And we have Light Year from the Kaleidos Astro Pink palette. I hope that satisfies your Able Sisters feels. Definitely satisfies mine. Like, I think that's perfect, and Sable has the most special color, and I'm totally happy with that. But just as a reminder, these were all of our runner-ups. We have so many. So many. And in an ideal world, if the Able Sisters had their own entire palette, this is what it would look like. At least to me. This is what I wish it would look like. So pretty. And then that is our last 4 colors. Love it. We're going on to our next palette that we're recreating, and that is the Nooklings and Mr. Tom Nook palette. And I actually quite like this one. I think that the color story is absolutely perfect. I wish there had been a little bit more depth to it, and I wish the pressed glitter had not been in there. But as a whole, I really like this palette. So we're not going to stray too far away from this color story. What I will add is a brown. And we're going to go with a bit of a darker brown, just because in the Celeste and Blathers palette, we had a lighter brown. So I might choose a darker brown for this particular color story. But otherwise, I really enjoy it. Well, we'll see how it looks with the brown. And if we decide we don't want the brown, I can always take it out. So let's just go in and swatch some stuff. I'm going to bring up our Mr. Tom Nook, but we're going to use the Nooklings because the color story for their shirts is what I want to use more than Tom Nook's sweater, I guess. Obviously, we're going to go into the Mint to Be palette because it's very, very reminiscent of the palette that they already created. I'm pretty sure you can dupe it all out just with this palette. We have so many in here that we can choose from. Let's just watch them all. So Mint Tea is the one that I probably will end up using just because it's so pretty. Probably my favorite shade in this palette. Just a beautiful freaking shimmer. I'm also gonna do Mojito Mint. Also very pretty, just lighter. Very pretty, but lighter. All right, we're gonna go in with Seltzer, which is a satin color. Ooh, come on, get out of there. Go onto my finger, there you go. Oh, that's like a piddly squirt of nothing. That didn't do anything, come on. There we go. And then finally, we're gonna go into Ice Cold. Yeah. All right, so those are our 4 contenders from the Colourpop Mint palette. All right, I'm gonna move into the Through My Eyes Colourpop X I Love Sarah He palette. There's 2 in here, obviously, that I really want to use. Both are absolutely gorgeous. This Emerald Dream and Moody. I feel like these 2 might be a little bit too green for what I'm going for, but we'll give it a shot and see how they look. There we go, Emerald City. These ones are definitely very green. Like, I don't mind it. I kind of like it. Because in the palette, it looks very teal, but on my arm, it looks way more green, like a forest green. Interesting. All right, so in the Elva 2 collection from Odin's Eye, we have a few in here that are interesting. So I'm gonna grab this mint color. Just a bright, bright mint. Very similar to the color that we have in the Mint to Be palette. It's not super different. Yeah, very cute, very nice. Actually, I think I'm gonna swatch this Little Deer color because that's a really pretty brown and I think that fits very well. It's a bit more of a warm brown than what we chose for the Blathers color. It's definitely more on the orange side, which I think works very nicely. I'm just gonna swatch this one as well, this Shine color, because why not? Oh my gosh. Wild. Wild, that color. I like the finish of that one a lot. Very sparkly. So going into the Kaleidos Electro Turquoise. We have a few colors in here that I want to play with. Oh my god. Oh, can you tell that there's a color story that I really enjoy because I have the same friggin' colors in so many different palettes, like this blue, this turquoise, like this dark teal, this mint, and then this color. It's like the same across several palettes that I own, but we'll swatch them anyway. So we have this mint, which is essentially the same as the one from the Odin's Eye palette, almost exactly the same. I'm gonna swatch this bright shimmer. That one's definitely brighter than the one from Odin's Eye. And then we have this dark teal. Which I wish it would actually show up, you know? I've never really had a problem with pigmentation and the Kaleidos palettes, but for some reason that one just needed a few tries to get it to show up. I definitely didn't go for efficiency when it came to these swatches, so I'm gonna have to be creative here. I'm gonna swatch this dark brown as well because I think it could be a good contender for our brown color that we want to have in this palette just to deepen things out. Yeah, I like that. That's nice. Okay, so one of the colors that I actually really wanted to try out, though it's kind of like a experiment, is this Scintillate. It's brown, but it has a teal sort of green shift to it. So I wanted to give that a shot and see how it looked. Meh, it's not quite what I'm going for, but it's a valiant effort all the same. I'm gonna have to put some colors on the back of my arm as well if we're gonna go with this rate. I think there are only a few colors left. So in the At Forest Sight palette from Raw Beauty Kristi, I wanted to try out this Pacific Northwest color. Just to see if it's a little bit too blue or if it's actually like a teal compared to the rest. Oh, it is teal, yeah, okay. That's a really nice one for depth. Like so far, I think that might be my favorite darker one. It looks more blue on the camera, but I promise you it's definitely more of a teal color. Yeah, so that's what we've got so far. We have this palette, the Muerte palette. This is one of my favorite palettes in the freaking universe, if not my favorite one that I own. It's so freaking pretty. So the ones that I wanted to swatch here are also very similar to what we've already swatched, but this minty shimmer for sure, like, it's just wild. This one's so nice. I'm just gonna put it across my wrist like that. Ooh, I think that one's a for sure. I think I'm gonna use that one definitely. And then we have this mint matte color, also very similar to what we've already swatched. I'm gonna put that on the inside of my arm there. That one's good too. Oof. And just for consistency's sake, I'm gonna also swatch this dark teal color and see how it measures up against the other ones that we've tried. Where am I gonna put you? Where am I gonna put you? I'm gonna put you right here. There we go. Oh, jeez. That one's like, in comparison, that one's definitely more blue and this one's more green, but meh. The color difference is not that stark between them. On camera, this one looks way more blue still, and this one way more green. But yeah, I guess. This one also has the same sort of greenness that this one does. This one's definitely more similar to this one than it is to this one, which is more of a true teal. And then the last one I wanted to try out was this, again, this darker brown from... We're actually going to try two different ones. So we're going to try out this lighter orangey brown and then this darker brown. And I'm gonna put those, where am I gonna put them? I'll put them down here. So that one and that one. I really like the mint with the brown. It's really pretty. Yeah, I actually really enjoy that. That's nice. All right, so we have all of our colors for the Nooklings and Tom Nook here. Now we need to decide which ones we're gonna keep and which ones are gonna go. Yeah, so first off the bat, I don't think I'm gonna go with this darker green shimmer or this darker teal. This one down here. I think those ones are gonna stay off the board. Yeah, I just don't think that they fit. I just don't like them. And the same thing with this sort of like more green shimmer. I don't think I wanna go with that one either. I think for sure I'm gonna go with this darker teal from the At Forest site and Raw Beauty Kristi palette. I think that this one works incredibly well for the Nooks. Just look at them. They're so freaking cute. Yeah, so we're gonna go with this darker teal. Oh geez, it makes a mess. Yeah, so we're gonna go with that darker teal color. Next up, I actually really like this brown to green shimmer, but I think it's really similar to the color that we used in the Able Sisters palette, so I might steer clear of that one. I really like this orange, this brownie orange from the Nude Mood palette, so I think for our brown tone, I think we're gonna go with that one. It's just so pretty and I think it works really well. Yeah, we're gonna treat that as our second matte, even though it's a satin. And then for our shimmers, I'm tied between that one, and I think for the light one, we're gonna go with this one from the Mint to Be palette, for sure, I think so. Yeah, so for sure, I'm gonna go with this middle color from the Mint to Be palette, yeah. So I'm gonna put that one on the end here. Yeah, I like that a lot, that's pretty. Now for our last color. So we have this one, we have this one, and we have this one. Do we want this one or this one? Because those are the two that I'm kind of trying to decide between at the moment. I kind of still also really like this one, but I don't think it'll work with what we've got here. I think it's this one kind of covers it. Yeah, okay. I think this one. I think we're gonna go with that one. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Yeah, that's perfect. There is my ideal Nooklings and Tom Nook palette. So just to cover that again, we have the shade Mojito Mami which is that light mint shimmer from the Mint to Be palette from Colourpop. We have the shade Angelito from the Muerte palette. We have Mugged Off from the Nude Mood palette. That's that orange brown. And then finally we have from the Colourpop At Forest Sight palette with Raw Beauty Kristi, we have PNW, Pacific Northwest. And that is my ideal Tom Nook and Nooklings palette. 2 shimmers, 2 mattes. Well, a satin and a matte. And just as a roundup, those were all of our runner-ups. So many. And again, ideally, if I had a whole multi-row palette to go for, this is probably what that color story would look like. Many more depths of brown, many more depths of green. I would love it all. But these are the 4 that we went with. Okay, we are back with our final palette, and arguably my favorite one that I actually, to be honest, quite enjoy. I think the color story is really pretty. I think they did a fantastic job with this one. This is our girl, our town representative, our island representative, Miss Isabelle. She's my favorite. I adore her so much. And we're hopefully going to do her justice today with her palette. And boy, do we have a lot of peaches and corals in my collection, because I have a type. I really like coral. I really like peach as a color. I wear a lot of it, so I have many. Whoa, no, let's drop them all. So let's start off with the first, the Baby Got Peach from Colourpop. Okay, I'm gonna go with this perky color and swatch that first. Ba-dum-bum. Yeah, very nice. I'm gonna do the centerfold color as well, although this one might be a little bit too bright for what I want. Or maybe not. The other one I think I kind of want to try is this shimmer, this Get Even, because it's just so nice. Looks like a sunset or a sunrise. It's so pretty. Yeah. The amount of sparkles I have on this blanket right now is just phenomenal. Amazing. Wild. So many sparkles. And on me as well. Going into the Costa Coral palette, I'm gonna do this anemone color. So pretty. Very similar to the peach. It's just a little bit more pink. I'm also gonna go with this deeper shade here. That's a satin color, so it's got sparkles all up in it. Just to say that I did, I'm gonna go in with this shade Diver. Swatch that. Wild. That one's definitely more orange. All right, next one in the lineup is the Miss Bliss from Colourpop. Let's take a look and see if there's anything we can use in here. I kind of like this Optimist shade. Let's see how that looks. It's very peachy. What? That one's definitely a more pastel orange color. Not quite what I had in mind. Yo, I have so many freaking coral colors in my collection. So this is the Colourpop Garden Variety. Let's take a look in here really quickly and see if there's anything we can use. The first thing that pops to me is this Over the Bloom. So let's give that a shot. I do like that one. That one is very nice. So we'll see. So many oranges, so much coral, so much peach. You can tell I like that color. All right, so going in with the Colourpop Candy Castle, there's really only one that kind of pops out to me as a color that's worth trying, and that's this Grandma Nut. Grandma Nut. Just for the sake of trying it, I'm gonna give this Candy Crush color a shot, because I actually do remember it being quite pigmented. Oh, that's my tattoo. I got really confused. I was like, what is that blue smear? That's my tattoo. So we'll keep that one in the running, see how we feel about it. Hopefully I will remember which colors are which. All right, so from the M Cosmetics Divine Skies, we have this peach color. Very pretty. Very similar to the others. Then I also have this peach shimmer, which will probably also be very similar to the other ones we've tried so far. surprisingly, unsurprisingly, it is. Can you tell I have a type? And that type is peach. Anything in here? Ooh, actually, yes. This is the Ciate London palette, so I'm gonna try this. I like that color very much. I think that's almost exactly what we want. I like that one very much. That one is bright. That's so bright. Okay, I actually want to go back into the Costa Coral because I remember there were some darker colors in here that I liked. Let's try Angelfish. Angelfish and Drop Off. How is Angelfish dark or lighter than the Ciate London color? Nah, I don't know. But I do really like this one from the Costa Coral palette. This is the satin color. It's very pretty. Okay, so the last color that I wanted to try for Isabel is a yellow. So first off, the one of the ones that really stuck out to me as a color that might represent her very well is this Starlight color from the Van Gogh palette from Musee Beauty. It's just a beautiful color. Yeah, I think we're gonna end up going with that one. That one's a for sure. Yeah, that one is a for sure. But we'll go into this Honey and see what we can find in here. The only other one in here that really I can see myself using is perhaps Sunburst. Yeah, that's nice. And perhaps Sweet Spot. Let's see how that looks. Ooh, or maybe Stinger. We'll just swatch all of them. Why not? Yeah, I'm gonna grab a bit of the Stinger. Yeah, that's nice. There's a lot of really nice ones there. Okay, so there we have all the colors for Isabel. So right off the bat, I can say that Starlight is one that I absolutely want for her yellow color. So I'm gonna go with that one. So we have her yellow right there. The other color that I know I absolutely want to use, I think, is this dark brown. It's like a coral brown. Because I want a deeper color in there that you can use to deepen out a look. So we're gonna go with that one, and that is Drop Off from the Colourpop Coast Coral palette. I'm gonna put that right beside the yellow. So now we need to decide on her 2 coral colors. I'm gonna give her one of the duochromes, and then I'm also gonna give her just like a normal coral color. I think these ones are too deep, so I'm gonna steer clear of those. We already have a deep color. My initial thought is potentially this one from the M Cosmetics, but no, that one's a little bit too light. I want something a bit more vibrant. Because we have the peach palette. So this is all 3 colors from the Baby Got Peach. And then this is from Costa Coral. This one was from Miss Bliss. And then we had Garden Variety, and then 2 from Candy Castle. It's either this Baby Got Peach color or the one from Costa Coral. Oh no, I missed one. There was one I wanted to try and use from this, and that was this color from the Sashimi City. Oh, how could I have forgotten? There's that one there. Very shimmery, very shiny, very pretty. As much as I like it, I still think I'm gonna go with the Starlight from the Musee Beauty. I do love that, but I like this one a little bit more for Isabel. I'm still debating, to be honest, between that one and the Baby Got Peach color. Oh, geez, I don't know. That one is a lot more of a yellowy shift. This one has a shift to it, but it's not as strong. I think I'm gonna go with the stronger shift, just because we have more of that yellow to complement the peach in the other color. Yep, so that's the shimmer from the M Cosmetics Divine Skies. So that's this one. I'm gonna go with that one. Yeah. Very nice. Yes, I'm happy. And then finally, for our last peach color, I think I'm gonna go with the Costa Coral. Really think I'm gonna go with the Costa Coral. Oh, I don't know. Let's open this up and take a look. Let's open it up and take a look. Because the question is, do I want the Costa Coral just because the palette theme is more in line with New Horizons just as a game? Or do I actually think that that color is more fitting? Which one? Which one? They're both very similar, aren't they? Costa Coral, I've decided. We're gonna do Costa Coral. I like it more. I've made a decision. Set in stone. This is the color we're going with. As you can see, it's very similar to the color story we already have with the Isabelle palette, but I think that that one was just really on the ball, really on point. I really had no issues with it other than the fact that it had a pressed glitter in it. I thought the color story was perfect, and other than the fact that this has a little bit more depth to it with that duochrome, and then this yellow actually being a yellow rather than a weird champagne color as it shows up in some people's reviews. Apparently it's just like a champagne-y sort of yellow rather than a true yellow. But yeah, there you go. That is our final palette that we've recreated. Well, quote unquote recreated. It's essentially the same thing, just with a few better shadows and no pressed glitter. But that is what I wish that that palette had looked like without that pressed glitter. A lot more depth, more vibrant color. I think I might wear this color story tomorrow because it's just so pretty. I'm obsessed with it. It's so nice. And there you go once again, all of our runners up. So many peaches. You can definitely tell I have a type. I love peach and coral eyeshadow with a passion. Yeah, this one is my favorite for sure. Out of all the ones we've created today, this one is for sure my favorite. And just as a recap, we have Starlight from the Musee Beauty Van Gogh palette. We have Drop Off from the Colourpop Costa Coral palette. And we have Magic Hour from the Cosmetics Divine Skies Magic Hour eyeshadow palette. And lastly, we have Anemone from the Costa Coral Colourpop eyeshadow palette. And that is our Isabelle color story. So just because I wanted to see all of them together, I've swatched them all out on my hand, on my arm, for you to see. So here we have Isabelle is these first four colors, the Nooklings and Tom Nook with these four, the Able Sisters with these four, and then we have Celeste and Blathers with these four. That's all of them together. I think they're so beautiful. Like as a color story, just cohesively, I think these all just work together so nicely. There's some beautiful color stories you can make with just like all of these colors. I could see this being one palette in and of itself, and it would be so pretty, so unique, and so beautiful. I really wish that the color story of the actual Animal Crossing palette had given us this level of variety, but instead they gave us this piddly squirt of nothing. Look at what could have been. It's okay, because at least I have what I need to give myself the vibes of Animal Crossing without actually buying this collection. So there you go. All of them swatched out for your viewing pleasure. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that it inspired you to go through your collection and see how you could recreate these palettes, dupe the vibes, or make better vibes with what you already have. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe to my channel, the subscribe button is down below if you haven't done so already. I really hope you enjoyed this. This took a very long time to make, and 2 whole tries for me. The world is in a great deal of trouble right now, so if you feel like helping, there are some links down below that will help you do so. As always, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video.